Okay, so in talking about tools that can be helpful to us so that we can learn our Tai Chi and not have to use our brains as much, because that can get in the way of us actually doing it. This is a Post-it easel pad. And so you see how it has like a sticky on it. It's just like the little bitty Post-its that has the, sticky across the top. And these are nice because they're big. I didn't have these when I first started Tai Chi, and I just used a piece of paper and taped it on the wall. So you can do that too. But this is just to give you an idea of what I've done here. And that is to write our steps for waving hands in clouds specifically. Now, when I first started, I would write out. Okay, here's Gwen. I thought Gwen was already here. All right. So when I first started, I would write out commencement, open and close, single whip, waving hands in clouds. I would write out each of those moves and have it on a paper on the wall so that I didn't have to think what was next. I can do that with my warm-ups. I know, and this is what I still think as I go through warm-up exercises, is I go from head to toe. So we do 2 for our neck, 2 for our shoulders, 2 for our hips, no, our spine, then our hips, then our knees, and then our ankles. So I go from head to toe with the warm-ups, knowing that there are 2 of each one. This right here is a poster that has each of the movements on there. This has always been helpful. I bought this frame at Walmart and put the poster in there so that it doesn't get bent up or anything. It's protected. And when I don't know, okay, I know that there are 2 neck exercises. Well, what are they? And so this right here helps me remember what they are. And so I'm past this now. I know them, even if sometimes I may get out of order. So those are just tools that can help you as you learn to be your brain for you. And so I've done the waving hands in clouds words, and we'll get to that today. We're going to do it in both directions. But let's start by walking around, open and closing our hands, getting our bodies warmed up and ready for exercise. I'm going to move this chair back to the wall. Y'all, of course, always want to start our exercise with warming up our bodies. We never want to have our muscles cold. If you have a handbook, I don't have one here in here with me, but the handbook has this information in there as well. And so that's a nice small compact way, because you may not be able to always have your posters with you, but that handbook is like a small little book that has all the movements in there. It has all the warm-up movements, all the Tai Chi series movements, information about principles, information about just the program in general, being that it's a Sun style, evidence-based, modifiable, just strictly about the program. So it's a really good book. If you don't have one, let me know. I think I've sent them all to everyone, but that doesn't mean that I haven't missed somebody. All right, so let's get in our nice stable stance with our good posture. So generally that means our feet are about shoulder width apart. Our shoulders are relaxed, and we have that good straight posture like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. So we feel nice and stable here. This is different for everybody. So we don't want our feet too close together. I already feel out of balance. As soon as I open up spread out that stance, I start to feel more stable. So find your perfect space. Let's start with our neck. We're going to bring our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies and then follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. You should feel a little stretch in the back of your neck. And make sure you're breathing as you go through these movements at your own pace. Other one starts out that same way. Come in, drop one hand to your hip. Now follow this hand to the side, or as you look towards that shoulder, come back to the front, switch hands and look towards that other shoulder. This may be where you feel a little bit stiff. Oftentimes we hold a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders. Just nature of our life, especially if you work at a desk or at a computer, holding your phone, drive a lot. Puts a lot of tension in that head, neck, shoulder area. Again, reminding yourself to breathe through the movement. Let's roll our shoulders. And roll them back. Feel a little massage that you give yourself. Check in, make sure you're breathing. Easy to hold your breath when you're doing something new and out of your routine. Big shoulder circle, hands up and push down. Good one to practice breath and also gentle resistance as you move, thinking about the air being thick or as if you were moving through water. Body a little shake as we've held our weight on those legs that during that time, and it's time to move to our spine. Let's grab our ball. We're going to put one hand down towards the ground and we're going to bring the other up our spine, pushing up towards the ceiling, stretching that spine vertically. Coming back to our ball. Inhale there and exhale as you separate. Back to our ball. Let's take it on a ride, go side to side, stopping just above our knee, staying within our frame, stretching that spine horizontally. And don't think you have to do anything more or bigger here. It's just a small, short ride. That's kind of hard for us because our general belief is more is better, or bigger is better. Now for our hips, we're going to shift our weight to one leg, put the heel out forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Think of this as a leg swing, holding that weight on that one stable leg that whole time, and that's challenging, but that's how we strengthen the muscle in our leg to make it a nice, strong, stable muscle. to help support our bodies and less chance of falls. Let's shift the weight to that other leg. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle and toe back, hands forward. Back to center. Now let's shift our weight side to side. Hands are stacked and we go in the direction of the weight shift, stopping at our frame, tapping that foot out, bring it back, shift, and tap. Switch, shift, tap. Notice I'm keeping my body upright. Shift, tap, shift, tap. Again, challenging those stabilizer muscles. Now for our knees, make our loose fists. I like mine down here by my hips. As long as you're not holding tension in your shoulder, you can have them up a little higher, wherever you feel most comfortable. We're going to shift the weight to one leg, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch, shift, lift, tap and punch. Take your time with the transitions. Check in with your posture. Make sure you're not leaning into the movement. Now let's step out. Small step. Shift the weight forward as we punch. Bring it back. Feet side by side. Shift, step. Shift and punch, bring it back. This is a good example of an empty step. So when we shift, we step, we don't immediately give that foot weight. We give it weight as we shift. We don't shift all the weight, we keep some on that back foot. But when we step out, we don't immediately give it weight. That's called an empty step. Just caught myself holding tension in my shoulders, and that's the gift of Tai Chi, giving us body awareness and know when we're holding tension and to get rid of it, to keep ourselves from having that pain from it. Next is for our ankles. We shift the weight to one side and then rock that foot, heel toe, heel toe. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, heel toe, heel toe. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, big toe, little toe, side to side. Working on the flexibility of that ankle. And shift the weight, little toe, big toe, side to side. We might not think about the stiffness of our ankles, but just a simple movement like this can help work out that stiffness. And you know, we have good and bad days with the stiffness in our joints. You know, I think about arthritis, and this program has been evidence-based, proven to help with the pain from arthritis, and the muscle strength can really help with the pain by relieving some of the pressure that is on our joints. But we're still going to have good days and bad days with it, right? All right, so we're ready for our Tai Chi series of movements. Now, I don't even know what to do anymore as far as mirror image. I tell you what, I have been with it, writing things. I literally wrote things backwards last week thinking I was doing something helpful, and it turns out it was not backwards. So I'm going to continue to do mirror image. I think that's what's helpful. So if I ever do anything that's confusing to you, or just call me out and then we'll talk about it, because I have learned that what y'all see and what I see on my screen are two different things, because y'all see this written right, written correctly, not backwards, but I see it as backwards. So my shirt, y'all see it the correct way, Tai Chi for fall prevention. I see it backwards. So that's why I was trying to figure out how I could help y'all, but I was assuming that y'all saw the same thing that I was seeing. So that's where all that come from, of me like making myself laugh over trying. I mean, I literally wrote that exact thing backwards. I put it out here and wrote backwards, and it wasn't helpful. So, oh well, we live, we learn. So let's start with commencement. Now, commencement, the footwork is a step forward, and we shift the weight to our right foot. We step with our left, we shift left, and bring that right foot forward. So that's the footwork of commencement. And I'm going to push us through because we've done this before. Gwen or Sharita, y'all aren't brand new, but I know it may have been a while that we've reviewed it or done it. So I'll do a quick review and then y'all let me know if you need more. So I'm going to turn to the side. The handwork of commencement, we start with our hands beside our legs. They're going to face each other the whole time. So we bring our hands up facing each other. Remember, it's out, but not locked out. So we still have that soft bend. We bring them up and away from our bodies, down, towards our hips, up our body. We go out and back in. That's the handwork of commencement. Dr. Lamb talks about that ball where, oh, look at this pretty shiny ball. Don't you want to play with it? No. Well, I want to give you one more chance, and you still don't want it, so I'll bring it back. That could be helpful, but it is up, down, in, up, out, and back. Connecting it with our footwork. When our hands come up, nothing happening with our feet. It's when our hands come down that we shift to that right leg. I step left. Remember the empty step, so no weight there yet. Bring the hands in and up. So that whole time that I brought them in and up, my weight is on my right foot. My left foot is stepped out, but there's no weight on it yet. Only when I take my hands forward do I shift the weight forward to that left foot that is stepped out. Shift as they go out, right foot forward, then I bring my hands back. So commencement, there is a lot going on with our hands and feet, but it's kind of one thing, upper body, lower body. You can chop it up back and forth. So up, down, shift, step, then bring them in. Oh, sorry, I didn't do mirror image. Hands come up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back. So our goal is to have the continuous more fluid flow like the river movement, and it looks like this. Commence. We want to make it more fluid, but make it however choppy you need it to, wherever you are in your learning. Commence up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. That's our second move. Next is single whip, and we do that to the right. So we shift left, step out right, and then adjust the weight. So now we're at a staggered stance. Our hands are here because we just did open and close. We push our hands out away from us, turn our palms away, and separate following that left hand. So a general rule with our single whips, the first time we do it to the right, the second time we do it to the left. The general rule is whichever foot is stepped out, so in this case, it's my right foot. When I separate my hands, I'm going to follow the opposite hand of the foot that stepped out. So right foot stepped out, I follow my left. So that's that general rule for that single whip. Follow the hand opposite of the foot that stepped out. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. There's our single whip. What's the end of single whip and the beginning of waving hands in clouds? It doesn't really matter. Whichever way you want to call it, that's the single whip. But to transition to waving hands in clouds, we shift our weight to our left foot, bring our right foot, right hand down. So this is for our single whip. That's the transition move, is from single whip, here, here, done, done, transition, there. So my left hand stayed up. The one that my eyes followed, it stayed up. And I like to think of my eyes kind of having superpowers, like making that hand stay there while I bring this to get ready for waving hands in clouds. So when we go into waving hands in clouds, we're at this stance. Now this isn't a real stable stance, being that your feet are so close together. So we don't want to spend a lot of time here. We want to step out. And that's our first step right here, step for waving hands in clouds. That's that first step. Step, and then we switch. So we switch our hands. Then we turn, then we shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn. I don't shift that last time. You can, but then you bring it back to center where your hands face, and we do open and close. That single whip leading into our waving hands in clouds, all to the right the first time. Then we'll do the middle, open and close, single whip, waving hands in clouds to our left. So this right here is a cheat sheet. You can see little brackets right here that combine, step and switch, and combine, turn and shift. And the reason why I do that is, here's that single whip here. So combined, we can step and switch, turn and shift, 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 step and switch, turn, shift if you want to, back to center, open and close. So combining these movements helps make the waving hands in clouds smooth and continuous. So that's our goal with the movement. Now, in the name of continuous, Okay, so we stepped, and our next foot movement is shift, right? Well, remember in this Tai Chi, we have empty steps. And what's an empty step? It's when we step, but don't give immediate weight to that foot. That's one of the features of this program is the empty step. It's kind of like I'm putting that foot out there. I'm making sure everything's okay. Just pretend there was a Lego or a hole or something that could be dangerous to us. When I empty step and discover the danger, then I can quickly and more easily move that foot because I didn't commit weight to it. You know, if I step out and immediately give it weight and I step onto a Lego, then I'm in trouble, right? So this program teaches us to be conscious of our step, not immediately giving it weight, which is how we typically walk. You know, we just throw that foot out there, shift weight as we walk. And so this is just a new way of moving our bodies to become aware of our environments. And it's called an empty step. So as we move in the direction of a smooth and continuous waving hands and clouds, or just Tai Chi in general, make sure you honor that empty step, even if it's just for 1 second, then shift the weight. Step empty, then shift the weight. It's easier in this movement because we have something going on in our upper body with the wave as we turn our torso from one side to the other side. It makes it a little easier to honor that empty step. But as we move into our advanced movements and we start doing a lot of step, follow step, shift, we don't want to get in our mindset of continuous movement that we forget the empty step. Let me know if you have any questions about that. But empty step means not immediately giving weight to that foot. All right, so back to our single whip. So we're here, shift left, step right, adjust the weight. And by that, I mean put weight on both feet, nice stable stance. Our hands go out, turn away from us, and separate following that left hand, opposite of the foot that's stepped out. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step. That itch messed me up. Sorry, y'all. Step, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. And then to the middle for open and close. Now let's do it to the other direction. We shift right, step out left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Sorry, right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back. I'm not good at being a liar, y'all. All right, waving hands and clouds. Oh, geez. Step left, switch, turn, shift, step, 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 switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Close it out. So this time, let's do those movements, and I'm going to combine the step and the switch, combine the turn and the shift. I may say shift in that final movement, that final turn and shift. Shift if you want to, but leave your weight at both feet if you want to take us into open and close. Whatever feels best for you. To me, it doesn't make sense to shift weight because we're immediately going to give the weight back to the other foot. But I think they're both right. I don't think the Tai Chi police would arrest us or fine us or take our pretty shirts away. So I just noticed that I was saying the word but wasn't shifting. So anyway, whichever works for you. Let's start from the top with commencement. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn and shift. 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 Step and switch, turn, and back to the middle for open and close. Single whip. Shift right. Step left, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn and shift. 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 Step and switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. And close it out. So these are movements that we've done. That doesn't mean we've perfected them, but we're going to review them. I'm going to review them without all the talking. And next week, we'll review them again, but I'd like to see us go in the direction of our advanced movements. And y'all let me know if y'all are interested, or if you're not interested, and we won't go there. I mean, this class is for y'all. We can do a little bit of the advanced and then come back and practice our basic. Always know that you have the videos to refer back to for practice. And hopefully you are practicing a little bit in between classes. All right, from the top, I'm just going to say the names of the movements. I will move in such a way that it's obvious that I'm step and switch, turn and shift, step and switch, turn and shift. So I'm going to move in a way that the words accommodate the moves. I'm not going to be real smooth and continuous. I'm going to give space for the words if you want to say them to yourself. All right, from the top. And commence. Hands come. Oh, sorry, I already told you a story. Just saying the words to the movements. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. What you think? Confidence level? Scale of 1 to 10?
8.
8. Where you at, Sharita?
Probably about a 6.
That's great. Hey, I love it. I love it. Gwen may have more confidence than I do. No, I kid because of all my backwards writing. I've been beating myself up for doing that. Oh shoot, I'm not good at lying. That's why I don't have the confidence. All right, so here we go. Let's do it again. Moving in the direction of our movement control, let's just remind ourselves of our principles. And when we practice, you can think of one principle and practice it that way. You can think of another principle and you can change up your practice, and it's a different experience if you're focusing on the weight transfer versus the upright posture, or thinking as if you're moving through a resistance, or that slow, like I often say slow, smooth, and continuous, like it's one word, but you could even break it down and say, hey, sometimes I notice I get a little bit fast, so let's just practice slow. And when I first started, I was pretending that I was in slow motion to make myself slow down because I wasn't used to moving so slow. So you can think smooth as you move. And so that lends the nature of your movement to be smooth when you're thinking about it. So you can think about the principles and practice those same movements. So whatever you want to focus on that. I like to sometimes just make sure my posture stays upright, that I'm not leaning as I move. Completely up to you what you want to focus on. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. I'll tell you something that I caught myself focusing on is breathing. And that's not something I had mentioned in our principles, was I holding my breath or was I breathing? And so that's something that we can just remind ourselves to do. So once you learn these movements really well, like I said, have a poster up there or a paper on the wall in front of you that has the list of your movements. So you don't have to think what comes after or which direction. You know, first that single whip is to the right. So right, R-I-G-H-T, you know, write it out so that you don't have to think right or left, right or left, right or left. One of my first classes I taught single whip to the left first. So I had to come back to class the next week and go, I taught y'all wrong. I taught you the wrong direction. So, you know, right and left matters when it comes to our Tai Chi series of movements. So put it on the wall so you don't have to think which way do I go. All right, let's do it again. Focusing on whatever you want to focus on with our basic 6 Tai Chi series of movements. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. All right, do you have any specific question about any of our basic 6? You like practice going through the movements?
Yeah.
Okay. This time I'm going to talk us through it. Like I kind of left you hanging for a few times and just said the name of the movements, and that's to make you think. So if I'm telling you what to do, sometimes your brain may stop thinking. So this time I am going to talk you through it, and it'll go, oh, I forgot that part. Or maybe I was doing that, you know, before that or whatever. Just as a reminder of all the moves. Okay. Starting with our weight on both legs, we have our hands to our side and commence. Bring our hands up facing each other and down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, adjust the weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step right. Yes, step right, switch hands, turn. I don't normally say right or left there, do I? Shift, step and switch, shift and turn. Step and switch, shift and turn. So we're moving in the right direction. Step and switch, shift and turn. Step and switch, shift and turn. Step and switch, shift and turn to the middle for open and close. Single whip. Shift right, step left, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. Left hand back. We're going to wave hands in clouds to the left. Step, switch, turn and shift. Step and 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 switch, turn and shift. And to the middle for open and close. And close it out. One thing I want to remind you with our open and close movement, you know, we're so grateful for that movement because it's like, oh, yay, a movement that I know for sure that I can do without trouble. Remember to give your armpits some breathing room. It's kind of hard to tell with this t-shirt on, but whenever I'm holding my hands here for open and close, I have some room in my armpit versus down. You know, I'm not here. My armpits aren't closed. I'm here where there's some space in my armpit, and that allows that energy to flow in our bodies. So that's just a little bit of a movement characteristic. That's the word. You know, we take that open and close movement just kind of for granted, like, oh, that's easy. I don't have to think. But do think about leaving some room in your armpit. All right, let me see if I can redeem myself and say the right direction one last time before we cool down. So from the top, let's start with commencement. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, step empty. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, shift and turn. 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 Last time. Step and switch, shift and turn. Step and switch, shift and turn. To the middle for open and close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, shift and turn. 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 Step and switch, turn, and come to the middle for open and close. And close it out. Yay, I redeemed myself. I said it all wrong. Like I said it all as a lie backwards. All right, let's do our cool down by giving ourselves a little fist massage on our legs, breaking up lactic acid. If you see my finger is kind of out like this, it's not in the loose fist. It's the arthritis in this finger is hurting today, and I can't bend it in to make that fist. It bees like that sometimes, y'all. Dadgum arthritis. It just does what it wants to do. And we work around it, right?
Yes.
I know yesterday I had a CD and I put the CD on this finger and it went down to this knuckle. I put it on this finger and it wouldn't even go past that first knuckle because that knuckle's swollen. All right, and then we gather tension, and that's to remind us we don't want to hold tension, so we let it go. Anytime we hold tension, we're potentially creating pain for ourselves. I'll tell y'all something in just a second. I learned on the internet, and I'm curious to see if it will work. Do y'all ever get headaches, specifically migraines? If you do, I read or saw, it was a doctor on the internet. He said to put a cold rag on your head and a hot rag on your neck, and that can help relieve a headache. The next time I get a headache, I'm going to try that. It can't hurt, right?
Right.
All right. Big circle and down. Come up and push down. One more. Now we take our right hand, make a fist that represents our strength. Our left hand, our fingers together represents our friendship. Our thumb in represents our humility. So we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste. So I just want to say how much I appreciate y'all being patient with me. Y'all are such kind students. You let me be imperfect. Y'all seem to love me anyway. I appreciate your effort, going right and left and whichever way we're doing it. I appreciate y'all so much.
We confuse you, or I do.
What do you say, Miss Sharita?
I say I probably confused you, so that's why you're going all over.
No, I confused myself with all this backwards talk. But anyway, it's all in the name to help y'all and get any of the benefits that y'all want to receive from Tai Chi. Personally, I need the reduction of stress and anxiety that life gives me. It is just overwhelming sometimes. And it's nice to come into a safe space and breathe and slow down. I hope along the way my muscles are stronger and I'm less likely to fall because of the weight transferring I've done in Tai Chi. So just because we have one specific benefit that we're kind of after, like what's our motivation to come to class, doesn't mean you won't get the other benefits too. So keep those in mind and stay dedicated. Off from class, but of course keep coming to class so I don't have to be here and talk to myself.
I had a connection problem. Girl, it wouldn't come in. The connection problem, I was having connection problems this morning.
Okay.
So I was here on time, but the the tablet just wouldn't let me in. So it took maybe 10 minutes for me to get in.
I don't understand these tablets sometimes. Like used to, my tablet would come up and it would say like class is going to start in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it said. And it quit doing that. And I don't know why. So these Claris tablets sometimes have a mind of their own. Yeah. But just know it's on recording if you want to re-watch any parts of the class. I think we did really good job with practicing the movements because we've learned them pretty good. So practice is just going to help us get better and better. Next week, I'll let y'all guide me of, how quickly we move through advanced movements. But I'm here for y'all. Just know that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, y'all have a good week and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Love y'all.
Nice meeting you.
Bye-bye.